Tozeur is an oasis in a city in southwest Tunisia. The city is located northwest of Chott el-Djerid, in between the Chott and the smaller Chott el-Gharsa. It is the capital of the Tozeur Governorate. With hundreds of thousands of palm trees, Tozeur is a large oasis. The dates that are exported from Tozeur are very well known. In ancient times, before the advent of motorized vehicles, the oasis was important for the transportation through the Sahara, which took place in caravans. The name of the city in antiquity was Tozeur. It was an important Roman outpost. In the Medina of Tozeur, one can find traditional architecture, fashion and workmanship. Like elsewhere in Tunisia, the local population is generally very hospitable towards tourists, and there are also many tourist facilities. From Tozeur one can make trips on a camel, explore the Sahara Desert and get to know the Chott el-Djerid, where one can see Fata Morgana mirages. Architecture. Tozeur, in common with the surrounding Djerid region, is noted for its yellow, brownish brickwork as well as its fascinating patterns in simple and rich geometric designs form the facades of most buildings in the old city and the new tourist zone. The old town of el-Djerid is an exquisite example of the local brickwork, mandated by the local government. The narrow streets, walls and facades were decorated with bricks, resulting in one of the most distinct and beautiful architectural styles of Tunisia. This work took more than 10 years to complete and the result is a must-see. Weather. Tozeur has a hot desert climate typical of the northern edge of the Sahara Desert. The annual average rainfall amount reaches 80.8 mm, and the annual mean temperature reaches 22.2 degrees Celsius, both making the city hot and dry year-round. The weather is usually good, settled and sunny throughout the course of the year. Summers are extremely hot with daily highs often exceeding 45 degrees Celsius in the shade, and the sirocco is known to often make the thermometer rise above 50 degrees Celsius still in the shade. During winters, it can sometimes freeze at night and just before the sunrise, as the temperature may drop below 0 degrees Celsius. Transport. The city is served by buses, taxis, railway, Lowage, and Tozeur International Airport with national and international services from London, Paris, Rome and few other European countries. Tozeur lies on the edge of the Sahara Desert. Tourism activity is more lively in the fall and winter months with Douz Festival among others in late December. The city has plenty of car rental agencies where one can rent a car without prior reservation. Visitors are advised to plan ahead, especially during the peak tourism season. Within the city limits, there is a reasonable taxi service that is priced reasonably. Taxis can take you anywhere if you do not feel like walking. Otherwise, walking within the city limits, the old city to the tourist zone is possible and in fact fun to see. Economy. Although still the largest part of the local economy, dates and farming are becoming less appealing to the young, preferring the fun and unstable business of tourism and contact with Westerners. Tourism is heavily developed and promoted, and Tozeur is considered a center of desert tourism. This becomes very evident if one visits the city during the International Festival of Oasis in November-December of every year. The government initiated 2 large-scale projects, tapping of deep aquifers by wells. This led to a series of severe problems: depletion of most natural springs, abandonment of the traditional irrigation canals. Tozeur's oasis has been irrigated based on an open-surface canal system designed in the 13th century by the famous engineer Ibn Chabit. This traditional irrigation system is currently being replaced by an eyesore system of concrete pipes. Moreover, water that was traditionally free to farmers is now being sold to offset the cost of these projects and pipes. It is important to note here that the traditional system of irrigation canals supported a delicate ecological system of endemic fishes and small animals, most of them either gone now or severely endangered with no protection. The second part of these local projects is the initiation of new oases around town. Very poor planning, corruption, and disregard to local traditions meant a futile effort at best. These oases' productivity is very low and the future highly unstable. This situation is slowly leading to the decay of the old oasis, with productivity plummeting and the health and future of the oasis questionable. The overall region, not only Tozeur, is seeing a large influx of unemployed workers and the families that are migrating from the once rich phosphate region of el-Gharsa.It, etc., in hope of work in the tourism sector. The phosphate mines are no longer productive and the government opted to sell them to European investors, who chose to let go of thousands of workers as the first step to rehabilitating them. Unfortunately, this influx caused problems to Tozeur, where the unemployment rate and crimes skyrocketed. Overall, the region, and Tozeur in particular, is going through a tough time. The region is embracing the very unstable tourism economy and shying away from its traditional agricultural-based economy that provided security for centuries. If history is any indication for the region, during the First Gulf War the sector suffered tremendously, with a loss of large number of workers and an increase in unemployment. The same happened twice during September 11, 2001 attacks and the current Iraq War. Banking and money. The city is served by all Tunisian banks. One can find easily banks, ATMs, and money exchange offices. Most Western money is accepted directly. Most credit cards, like Visa, MasterCard, Diners Club International, are also honored in hotels, restaurants, and artisans' shops. Sport. Tozeur has a football club who plays in the first professional federation of football in Tunisia. The team is called LPSD Tozeur. In 2010-2011 season the club almost made it to the first professional federation of football. Bishopric. During the Vandal, Byzantine and Roman empires, Tozeur was known as Tashuros, and was a metropolis in the province of Byzacena. At this time it was the seat of a bishopric called Tashuros, located in the Sahel hinterland of the Byzacena coastline, close to the towns of Aqua and Nefta and south of Cap Surinad. Roman Tashuros became an important center of donatism. The bishopric ceased to function following the arrival of Islam but remains today a titular see of the Roman Catholic Church. Known bishop say Seleucus was bishop. Known hymn letters he wrote to Augustine and donation and from tracts against one Aptus who was accused of Judaizing. Joseph Leo Cardin, founder of the International Young Christian Workers, February 15, 1965 – February 22, 1965. Giovanni Bonelli, June 11, 1966 – June 3, 1977. Thomas Cajetan Kelly, Auxiliary Bishop in Washington, June 12, 1977 – December 28, 1981. Paul Anna, Auxiliary Bishop of Mechelen, Brussels, February 14, 1982. Famous people. Abul Qasim Abi is a famous Tunisian poet and known and respected throughout the Arab world for his elegant style and powerful words. The current Tunisian anthem is based on one of his poems, Abu Yazid Makhalad ibn Kayrad, for the Berber Zenata tribe, nicknamed Sahib al-Hima, who led a mostly Berber revolution against the Fatimid ruler. The revolution, almost a success, was finally crushed. Sahib al-Hima was finally caught hiding in a cave. He was ordered executed, skinned and stuffed with cotton. His mutilated body was put on display at the southern main entrance to Mahdia, a Tunisian coastal city. Ironically, Sahib al-Hima started his revolution by implanting his spear in the very same door a few years earlier. Ibn Chabit, aka Muhammad bin Ali, is a writer, historian, engineer and a respected Tunisian social figure in the 13th century. Ibn Chabat's main contribution and legacy is an open-surface canal system for equitable water distribution in the oasis that is still in use nowadays. Ibn al-Qardabis, jurist and historian of Al-Andalus. Brahim Dargaw, the novelist. Trivia: Tozeur was used as a filming location for the Star Wars saga and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Lucasfilm also built an entire set a few kilometers northwest of Tozeur in the middle of the desert. This set acted as Mos Espa in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. The buildings are still there and can be visited. The English Patient with Ralph Fiennes and Kristen Scott Thomas was partially filmed outside Tozeur. In May 1984, the Italian singers Alice and Franco Battiato represented Italy in the Eurovision Song Contest with the song I Treni di Tozeur, whose lyrics contain several references to Tozeur, the historic train Le Lézard Rouge and Tunisian history in general. This song became a chart hit throughout continental Europe and Scandinavia and made the name of this town more famous in Europe.